Hey, what's going on, guys? I am back with another Avata video. I know it's been quite a few days since my last Avata video, but honestly, I have been out there just flying this thing. I only have one battery for now as well, which has made it difficult to kind of fly since I have to fly, recharge, fly, recharge. But I'm happy to say that Zach over at DroneWorks is sending me a FlyMore pack, and I should have that very soon, which will allow me the ability to do more flying and share more content here on YouTube. And by the way, if you are looking for the Avata customized bundles or just that FPV remote and not the motion controller, DroneWorks has it all. They have all the different customizations you can possibly get from the Avata down to just the standalone, the bundles with the motion controller and the FPV controller, or just the FPV controller. You name it, go get yourself the Avata over at DroneWorks. And today, we are going to be talking about Freewell Filters. I am very excited to have the opportunity to test these out for Freewell and make a video for you guys, for the community, because if you notice on my initial video, one of the things that was a huge standout to me was the fact that when I was flying with the ProTech 35, there was motion blur. And there's no secret there, right? The reason why there was motion blur was because I had an ND16 on my GoPro Hero 10, and the Avata didn't have an ND filter. Now, the beauty of using an ND filter is, of course, you get to keep your shutter at the appropriate 180-degree rule, right? So in this case with the Avata, we're shooting at 4K 60. You want your shutter speed to be at 120 frames per second. And when you crank the shutter all the way up, then what's missing is the motion blur. And the beauty about motion blur is that when you're flying low to the ground, as you should be with the Avata, getting that cinematic style, flying in close proximity, tight gaps. When you are shooting in, low to the ground with the Avata, you want to have that motion blur. The motion blur gives your video such a different perspective. It makes you look, appear as if you're flying much faster than you actually are. That's just the science and beauty around filming, and what, just tweaking a few things will enable your footage to look slightly different. So here today we have the Freewell standard 4-pack. We have an ND8, an ND16, a 32, and a 64. By far for me, an ND16 and 32 are my most favorite, and in most cases, the filters that I would go towards. It'll be interesting though with the Avata, because we only can shoot at 4K 60. I might have to leverage the ND8 more than usual. And then we have just a UV filter, which is absolutely fantastic. Just again to filter out the UV light. But also I love UV filters to just put on my lens and use at all times when I don't need an ND, because it's just another form of protection from your lens. So if God forbid you hit a tree branch, you crash, keeping a UV filter on your Avata will protect your lens 100% of the time from those scratches or nicks and even a bad catastrophe. And then finally, we have just a polarized filter. A polarized filter will be great on a day such as today, where I am, flying near water and we have the sun here. There's not a lot of overcast situation happening. So the polarized filter will eliminate some of those reflections back into my camera, which would allow you for a cleaner shot. So let's go ahead and do a test video of the Avata flying with filters. And I will also demonstrate how easy it is to install. Installing the filter on the Avata couldn't be any easier. I think the Avata has two things going for it. Number one, DJI finally released a gimbal guard that's so easy to install on your gimbal, and it doesn't take you a PhD or to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. And number two, filters. Filters, I don't know if this is just a design from Freewell, because I don't have the DJI filters, but these filters are so easy to install. I'm gonna demonstrate here, and hopefully the camera captures this. But these filters here, they're so tiny and they're so small. They're magnetic as well. And what happens is once you place it over your camera here, they just kind of like with the magnet, attaches itself to the drone. But what you do have to do is just press down on it until you hear the little click. So I recommend you grab the camera, because it is on the gimbal. You don't want to add a lot of pressure to that, but you grab the little camera from top and the bottom using your two fingers, your two pointing fingers, and then you just push it in until you hear the click. And then, because your fingers are all over the filter and lens, you definitely need the little handy microcloth that comes in with the filters, and just wipe it off and ensure that you have a clean filter here. And then that's it. You're ready for your flight. So I have my ND32 on. It is a very bright day. It's slightly windy as well. I have this machinery to my left here making a lot of noise, and I am at a park, so what can you do? And now it's time to take this little guy up in the air, and let's see how it performs. I mean, you know, I know that it's going to be incredible footage just because of the motion blur that we spoke about. You want to have your shutter speed at the right settings, which in this case for me, I'm flying 4K 60. I'm going to keep my shutter at 120 frames per second. Did I just say shutter or shutter? Shutter. I'm going to keep my shutter at 120 frames per second. And enough blabbing. Let's take this thing up in the air. I'll share the footage with you here, and then we'll come back just for some closing remarks on the impressions of the Freewell filters. All right, so I just finished flying the one battery, but did two flights. That's the good thing about the Avata, is just the battery life on the Cinewhoop is incredible. But I did two flights, one with a filter, one without a filter. I put both up on this video. Did you notice a difference? Did you notice a difference of which shot had a filter? Was it shot A or was it shot B? And then obvious, which shot did not include the ND filter? Was it shot A or shot B? So we went ahead and filmed with both with and without, just to give you again the difference of what an ND filter would do for your video. That motion blur, keeping your shutter at that 180-degree rule is absolutely going to give you the best results. So I am very pleased and happy overall with the Freewell filters. I highly suggest that you pick one up. I'll leave links in the description below. I mean, this pack is absolutely fantastic if this is all that you want to get. You get an ND8, the 16, 32, and 64. You wouldn't need anything more than just this pack here. And one of the things that I really want to recognize Freewell for is just their packaging. The fact that packaging for me is very important. And the fact that you can put all these filters here in just a nice little case that's compact, and you can take it with you anywhere you want. without getting it lost, without getting a scratch is absolutely fantastic. So for me, this is a winner. Go ahead and pick yourself up. And if you're looking for the Avata, again, DroneWorks has them in stock. They have this guy here in stock. Everybody's looking for this. So don't miss out on the opportunity of picking up an FPV controller and making your Avata whole. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Until next time, peace. And let's continue doing some more flying.
On him and Ken's channel.
Nah, the app does.
I was like, yo, dude, my mouth was like this.
The app sucks.
The app does not suck.
It sucks, and they need a Premiere plugin.
Yes,
they got one for Final Cut Pro.
I get that. I get that.
And Premiere is the most open source thing you can. Everybody got a plugin for Premiere. Final Cut is by Apple, and they got a plugin for Apple. Now the phone, I've never tried. I've never tried the phone.
Final Cut is an Apple.
It's an Apple product.
And they got a plugin for Apple.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's an Apple product.
Yeah.
So they have a plugin for Apple.
Yes.
Does that make anything? Listen, my only beef with the app is that I can't export in 4K. My only beef. Everything else,
but you said you told me they fixed that.
I don't know how the hell I do it.